Hi, my name is Sam, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a haul that I picked up from Japan Book Hunter. So everything that we have today is all going to be manga. It's all going to be from Japan. Got honestly, some pretty cool things that we have in the video today. So hope you enjoy it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at some books that I picked up from Japan Book Hunter. His name is Shawn. He is somebody who lives in Japan. He hunts rare, hard to find manga, art, posters, magazines, you name it. Throws these in the boxes when you do order from him. So I had two different orders from him. I had one from November and one from December. You kind of get an idea of, the kind of things that you can find on his website. Pretty cool, obscure things. Like, for instance, if you don't know what popcorn is basically re-releases of American comics that was done over in Japan, and American comics aren't super popular over in Japan, so those didn't do very well. With that being said, there wasn't a lot printed, so the books themselves can be a little pricey. So you can kind of see here, this is just a magazine basically, and it's $60 for that magazine. If you're into that kind of stuff, it is out there. I do have some Marvel Japanese stuff that we're going to be taking a look at today. Let's go ahead and get into this. And with Shawn, I'm going to put a link in the description to his channel, so that way you can head over there, check out his content, and then as well check out his website and pick up some stuff from him. Again, just some stuff that you get from him when you do get those orders. Just a cool little sticker. Get that QR code on there for you. You can scan that if you'd like. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this first since we're on the subject. So this is going to be a Silver Surfer re-release, Kobanusha and Marvel comic collaboration. This is extremely rare, and these are probably books that you will never find anywhere else. I can't find any on eBay. These are in immaculate condition. I have no idea how many of these were printed. To my understanding, not a lot. So it's kind of crazy I'm even holding these in my hands. And they are just absolutely beautiful books. Go ahead and flip these open here so you guys can see what we're taking a look at. Yeah, it's just insane. You always get a couple of these first handful of color pages. Manga fashion. It does go into, just straight black and white print, which I'm not gonna lie, I think I prefer Silver Surfer to be in black and white print. One of the reasons why I love Silver Surfer so much is because of the amount of black ink that is on the pages, even in colored. So if we go back and look, so you can see what I mean. It's just the amount of blacks that are on the colored pages, because primarily he's in space. I love black ink. I love slinging black ink. Silver Surfer, there's a lot of, again, black inks going on. Seeing it in nothing but black and white is honestly really fucking sick. In terms of what I have in my collection right now, this is probably like a top 10 book that I have for me in my collection. I love Silver Surfer. I love weird Japanese manga. You combine the two, you cannot go wrong. Just, again, black and white Silver Surfer. Hell yeah. Good shit. The next book that I wanted to take a look at, this is going to be Fish Scale Girl by Hino Hideshi. Hino Hideshi is an artist that I've known about, and I honestly kind of forgot about, just in passing. You always think about your typical manga artists, your Otomos, Akira Toriyamas, so on and so forth. Hino Hideshi is a popular artist, but kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. One of the things that I love about his artwork is that it is trippy as hell. It is horror through and through. Weird ass things happen in these stories. There's gore, there's body horror. So exactly what this is Fish Scale Girl. It is what it sounds like. There is a girl that turns into a fish. So this is the Bunko Black collection, so it's just a small little travel book. So this is kind of meant to, be used on the subway, the train, things like that on their commutes. I love, just the two-tone printings that they do, one-tone printings, the red especially. But once we get a little further into this book, there's like like a sepia tone almost, like an off brown black color that they use for the printing. Yeah, see, look at this. So fucking cool, man. I cannot read Japanese. If I do want to know what any of this stuff is, literally just scan it onto Google and have it translate from Lens. But I'm into this stuff for the artwork, to be honest with you. And I think that one of the better things about manga, especially good manga, is you can follow along with it. And honestly, this isn't just manga, this is just for comics in general. The language doesn't matter. If the pictures are good, this is a sequential art storytelling. So if the pictures are good and they make sense, and what you're telling in the illustration makes sense, the words really don't mean as much because you can tell the story visually, right? We're going to look at GOLGO 13 later on in the video, and GOLGO 13 is probably my favorite manga, especially one that is easy to pick up and, you know, figure out what's going on in the book without having to know Japanese. Crazy stuff. So yeah, again, it's just a lot of horror. He has a very distinct style, especially in his eyes. I think that you can really pinpoint the way he draws eyes very easily. So yeah, Fish Scale Girl, Hino Hidishi. Highly recommend anything by Hino. It's good shit. So this is gonna be a book set. This is Maiju Sensen Ken Ishikiwa. Sorry if I pronounced your butchered your name, brother. He's probably up there for a lot of people. He's not one of my favorites. However, the reasoning why I did pick this book up, or this set, again, love black ink, the black ink that splatter that's going on. There's a handful of pages that I've seen in this, and this whole set, I think it cost me like 25 bucks for all these books, so it wasn't even bad at all. I love the tech that's going on in this, and I was kind of looking for an obscure, like, sci-fi kaiju sort of story. Yeah, look at this. It's really cool. Sci-fi, you know, kaiju sort of obscure story. And I was talking to Shawn about different books, and he kind of had said, hey, you know, check out stuff from Ishikawa. So I did, and, you know, he's got Devil Lady and all that stuff that I think is probably more popular. Again, with the space stuff. Real cool shit. This is a whole set. This isn't a series I think that you can just pick up without knowing Japanese and kind of, if you appreciate the art, absolutely, you know, there's a lot to pull from here. But if you're actually grabbing this stuff to read, this isn't something that you, even through visuals, you can kind of pick up. There's a lot of strong imagery in these books, but in terms of the sequential storytelling, I don't think it is this book's strong suit. So I wouldn't recommend it if you really can't read Japanese. The imagery is fucking nonsense, so it doesn't really make sense. Is what I'm saying is, who even knows what the fuck that book's about? Because I have no idea. Alright, so this is going to be a Roman album of Kiki's Delivery Service. We got Miyazaki. I'm not a big fan of Miyazaki, personally. This is something that my girlfriend wanted to pick up. You know, I do have an appreciation for anime. I have an appreciation for cartoons in general. So anything that, you know, kind of, I guess, expands my horizons a little bit or gives me a little bit of insight about production, different cells, techniques, and things like that maybe they have used. I find all that stuff fascinating, and of course I know that a lot of people love Miyazaki stuff. Again, it's just not one of those things that I really like. I'm not too fond of, you know, like the cute chibi anime style. That's the way that a lot of Studio Ghibli Miyazaki stuff looks. It just doesn't speak to me, so. But I figured, hey, I got it in the order, might as well show it off. Again, this is a Roman album, so it's just basically a picture book of, or stills in a production of the book, or of the movie. And this was Kiki's Delivery Service. Alright, so then now my all-time favorite, GOLGO 13. This is going to be number 5. There are a million of these things out there, and this is a thick-ass book. It's more of a magazine, I guess. It's really not a book. It's kind of hard to describe. It's like a newspaper print. It's still bound, you know, more or less like a book or a magazine. I don't know, it's strange, and it's, see what I mean? Like how thick that thing is, and it's supposed to be like a magazine. But it is a little beat up, as you can see. This is something from the 70s. GOLGO 13 is probably my favorite, right next beside Kamen Rider, and to some extent, Dragon Ball, but GOLGO 13 and Kamen Rider probably are my two favorites. If you don't know what GOLGO 13 is, it's basically a Japanese version of James Bond without a filter. That's the best way to look at it. Or like Hitman, if you're into Hitman, you know, Agent 47, all that kind of stuff. That's more or less what this is. He's just a cold-blooded, you know, assassin, spy. Basically, he has no emotion. He does two things, GOLGO does, or Duke, I should say. He fucks and he kills. That's all that happens in these books. This dude just fucks women and he kills things. That's it. So if you're into that, hey, this is the book for you. And like I said, this is straight up just James Bond. And all of this happens in the US, like it's all San Francisco. So I know that Takeo Saito, the creator of GOLGO 13, I know that I believe he took a trip to San Francisco and it like blew his fucking mind and basically was like, ooh, now I gotta kind of like base a lot of stuff around San Francisco. So a lot of these shots and stuff are, you know, buildings from San Francisco. A lot of it takes place in San Francisco. He does do a lot of globe trotting, but a lot of this, you know, happens in San Francisco. And then plus like GOLGO 13 The Professional is an anime movie, which I highly recommend. Again, it's strange. It is what it is. You can get that on Tubi. I believe it's on Tubi right now. It's fucking fantastic. I recommend to watch it. It's one of those animes that's like has a really unique visual style to it, similar to like Akira, to where it really sticks out. The production values on it are really high, so it's not like a cheap piece of shit movie. But one of the reasons, again, why I love this so much is because you can follow along with the story. As you can see, there isn't a lot of talking that's going on these pages, right? I kind of have bookmarks for certain pages because I've been trying to parse apart how he's drawing backgrounds. I'll just show you. So I was trying to mess around with how he was drawing like the mountain backgrounds, and then as well kind of like this, the cartooniness of like the wheels moving. This shot kind of came from, I changed it a little bit, but I'm trying to get this rock texture and stuff, trying to pinpoint how he's drawing that. It's pretty interesting. I'm in the process of concepting, storyboarding, thumbnailing a comic of my own, and this was a pose that I had seen I thought would be cool to kind of take and you know, and swipe kind of that holding the gun sideways. You really don't see that a lot. And I think that's a really cool shot to kind of homage, just because it's crazy, just the detail that this dude gets on a page. Crazy detail. And I love these subsequent red pages that you get in here. So good. Of course, some bowling got going on. Japanese people love their bowling. But you see what I mean, though? It's basically just, like I said, it's James Bond and Hitman 47 without a filter to it. So, you know, it is X-rated. There's a lot of, again, it's a lot of sex in it, a lot of violence. So if you're into that, spies, 60s, 70s, see, this came out in 73. So if you're into that, like I said, this is my all-time favorite. Check out the movie. You can watch it on Tubi. There is a live action movie as well that's floating around out there. I've never watched that. I've seen trailers for it and whatnot, and it looks like GOLGO 13. But like I said, the visual style of both the anime and the manga, that's where it really shines. GOLGO 13, everyone. Okay, so this is Indivisible by Akira Oyama. So this is a doujinshi. If you don't know what a doujinshi is, it's essentially, they can be a couple of different things. Romance books, they can be X-rated. It's basically just fan fiction is the best way to look at it. It's just adult only, X-rated fan fiction. A lot of these, it's just, you know, you'll see Ninja Turtle ones, you'll see, you know, Justice League ones, you see Powerpuff Girls, literally anything, you know, Rule 34, that whole thing. If it exists, there's gonna be porn of it. It's pretty much what this is. So some of this stuff gets real ridiculous. I just find it extremely funny, so that's why I buy this kind of shit, just to laugh at it. This was more or less, it's romantic, so you can see that there really isn't anything in this book that's really gonna happen that's like crazy, you see what I mean? It's more or less just like kind of like kissing and holding hands and stuff like that. That's one of the downsides, is really couldn't see a lot of the inside pages when you do buy these things. You know, he puts up a handful of pages on the website, but kind of getting a sampling, so you kind of take a risk sometimes, especially when you buy things that aren't as known. Nonetheless, he got some nipple licking going on there, but yeah, like I said, it's nothing too crazy. It's still just a you know, it's still doujinshi, but it's just romantic. Nonetheless, figured to show it off because I picked it up in the order. It's what are you gonna say about this? It's just stupid shit. Okay, so this is 1970 to 1985, Volume 2 of Hip Hop Family Tree and Manga. As everybody knows, I love Ed Piskor, I love cartoonist kayfabe. So anytime I get the chance to pick up anything Eddie P, Jim Rugg, you name it, I'm going to. This wasn't something that's in my collection. I have a shitload of Hip Hop Family Tree. I don't have any of the manga, so I figured, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and get some from Shawn because he was selling it. So this is the thing that I primarily love about these books, is the different color pages that you get. So this is something that you see a lot in manga, to where they just print in black and then they change the page color. And this helps give your art and your, you know, your book variation, rather than just constantly having it be white and black. So it helps with save cost, while giving it a good unique visual style. And you'll see like the Hino Hideshi book in the GOLGO 13 that we're kind of looking at, on occasion they will just print in one single color, so it'll be a black and a red, or strictly it'll just be red, sepia, whatever color it might be, to help save money. The crazy thing is, with a lot of manga that people don't realize, is some of those people were making that weekly. So just how fast and whatnot that they had to work to get that stuff printed and put out. That's why a lot of the work isn't detailed. That's why it's printed the way that it is. It's because they got to get that shit out. Comics, manga over in Japan is just a mainstream part of their culture. It's not like how it is here in America. A lot of it gets consumed. What I wanted to say is that this book, yeah, like this printing here, like how they do like this purple ink on the white paper and stuff. I love how this looks. Smoking some crack, man. But yep, good old Hip Hop Family Tree. It's an editorialized history of hip hop. Yeah. Fun stuff. Figured I'd go ahead and pick this up. It reminds me a lot of like an old Yellow Pages like phone book. It's like the best way to describe like how this thing is. It reminds me of. It's like real thick and dense, but it's like super light. You know what I mean? Like a phone book would be, and it's got the different pages and stuff in there. I don't know. I honestly really love this book. I love Hip Hop Family Tree in general, but just the way that this is put together, it's really smart. Faster, further, to the future, Shotaro Ishinomori. Like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite mangas or series of all time. Good old Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is kind of like a Power Ranger sort of thing, to kind of put into context of what this is, that, you know, for what we would have had it here in America that was super popular. Kamen Rider did come over here a little. It was mainly just that first show that's the one that I love a lot, that they played, you know, reruns of and whatnot. This is more or less an art book of Kamen Rider. I think that Kamen Rider is just like one of the coolest fucking characters on the planet. Just, here's a superhero bug man that rides a rocket-powered motorcycle. Hell yeah. We will look at Kamen Rider at some point in time, just individually outside of this art book. So you got that to look forward to. Kamen Rider, I guess like the story behind it is, it's more or less like a dude gets kidnapped. He gets kidnapped, gets experimented on by an evil organization called Shocker. They're basically just a bunch of fascists. They turn him into a cyborg superhero thing. He basically gets superpowers, and then, you know, he breaks loose out of Shocker's grasp, and then goes on a verge of just, now we can take down Shocker. Kamen Rider, and I'm going to put this in the description as well, But Kamen Rider is completely available. I know it's on Tubi, but it should be on YouTube as well. If it is on YouTube, I'll stick the link down in the description so you guys can check it out. I think if you watch the very first episode of Kamen Rider, you kind of get an idea of what it is. You know, it gives you the origins of the character, and then as well, probably one of the more popular enemies. You see this guy here, the little spider dude, Spider-Man. You get him. But one of the things I just now noticed this, just kind of looking back at this book right now. Check out this eraser he's using. Check this out. I use the same exact ones. Great minds think alike, I suppose. Like, holy shit, dude, look at this dude's office. It is a fucking mess, man. I don't know how people work like that with, like, their studio and station just being a mess like that. Like, if you ever look at pictures of, like, Rob Liefeld sitting in his studio, it's a mess. There's just a million cups of just random fluids and shit just laying around everywhere. If you're into wrestling, like, Dave Meltzer is somebody who comes to mind who's just, you see pictures of his office, and there's just papers literally just all over the floor. Like, how do you live in a space like that, let alone work in a space like that? Like, how don't you lose shit? And there's, you know what I mean? It's just nonsense. People are just crazy with how they operate sometimes. Ishinomori Shitoro, I mean, he's the fucking man. So, like I said, this is one of my all-time favorites. So, I would definitely pick up anything Kamen Rider, especially the original series. You can get the entire Kamen Rider. You know what? Hold on a second. I'll just go grab it. Yep, so here you go. Here's all of Kamen Rider, pretty much. This is a fat book, and this isn't super expensive. This book you can buy for like $35, $33. You can honestly find this book on Amazon, eBay, and places like that for like half off. I bought this thing brand new on eBay. I think I paid like $14, $15 for this book. There is a Super Sentai that was done by the same company. It's this Seven Seas is who's putting this out. These are awesome books. It's basically, they just reprint the mangas here in America. They localize everything, so they put it in English. It still reads like a Japanese book would, so it reads from right to left. Everything is still intact here. So you kind of open it up, and in normal manga fashion, you get your first couple pages is going to be in color. And then eventually, boom, it just goes straight into the manga. So this manga literally follows the TV show to a T. Like I said, you can literally just watch the TV show, and it will make you appreciate this way more. You can't have one without the other, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, both are so good. They stay so true to each other, so they enhance each other. You know what I mean? If Kamen Rider is still on YouTube, I'll go ahead and I'll pull that description. I'll stick it down, and I'll go ahead and pull that that link and stick it down in the description for you so you guys can check out some Kamen Rider. Okay, so then, as in normal fashion, let's go ahead and let's rank my pool. Let's pull the top 3 things that I got, and for you guys to track down and add to your collections. Alright, so the number 3 thing that I'm going to recommend to pick up is going to be the Silver Surfer reprints. So there is, man, there's like a Spidey, I think there's like an Iron Man one that's floating around out there, and a Thor one as well. I think are all the ones that they had made of these. The Silver Surfer being the most obscure. Of course, he is going to be the more obscure character out of, you know, Iron Man and Spider-Man. And Thor, there might be Hulks of these that they had done. I'm not 100% sure on that. But this would be my number 3 recommended pickup, would be the Silver Surfer reprints. Good luck finding them, but if anybody's going to find them, it's going to be Shawn. So, you know, just be sure to check out his website and see what you can find. My number 2 recommendation, Faster Further to the Future. Again, Kamen Rider, absolutely love it. This is just an art book that kind of breaks down more of the show than it does the manga. But there is, you know, some drawings in there of the manga, some concept art and things like that. The first half of this book is what I really like because it is more focused on the art and whatnot rather than the TV shows. But this is just an overall celebration. the 75th anniversary of Kamen Rider. So I guess this isn't a hard book to track down. It's like a $25, $30 book. It's not super obscure or anything like that. But like I said, anything Kamen Rider related, you could grab that manga. There is a Super Sentai that 7 Seas company also put out. That's just Power Rangers in that same classic collection that you can get very cheap. All right, then of course you guys should have seen this coming. My #1 pickup that I would recommend, GOLGO 13. This is something that is really obscure here in America. This is extremely popular in Japan. However, it's hard to find here. Like, I guess it's hard to get hands on, especially like older ones in Japan, from my understanding. Some of this stuff has been localized here in America, but the prices on it is pretty extravagant for people that are reselling them on eBay. I think somebody is selling like the whole GOLGO 13 set, which is like fucking like 15-20 books or something, you know, thick boys, for like $400 out of my price range. But anytime I can get some more GOLGO, I'm gonna keep getting some more GOLGO. This would be my #1 recommendation. And I almost forgot as well. I ended up actually picking up, I'm going to throw some B-roll footage here up on the camera. I actually ended up picking up a print from Shawn as well. It was a Jeff Darrow signed print. Jeff Darrow is probably a top 5, if not a top 10 guy for me. One of those dudes that just draws just a million lines on the page. I'm a huge fan of Shaolin Cowboy. So you got Jeff Darrow, you got Shaolin Cowboy. What more do you want, ladies and gentlemen, right? So, again, recommend to head over to Japan Book Hunter, check out his website, check out his channel. All the links will be down in the description for Shawn stuff, for Kamen Rider, and then as well, if there's anything GOLGO 13 related, I'll throw down in the description so that way you guys can check it out. All right, well, thank you for watching the video. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Tell me what your favorite manga is. Tell me who your favorite Japanese artist might be. Tell me if you do pick up anything from Shawn. And I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out and talking comics. Peace, everyone.